Institution Online is offered to you by the African Council for the Media.
Hello televiewers, it's News Online on your Pan-African channel AFRIQUE Media. We kick off from the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The managing director of Dangote Group of Companies, Aliko Dangote, told the Kogi State Executive Council during an extraordinary Executive Council meeting convened in his honor in Lokoja recently that rehabilitation work is expected to begin soon on the Obajana-Osokosoko-Kaba Road. He recalled that the Kaba Road has been a veritable ground for armed banditry due to its poor condition. In Nigeria again, the sum of 715,845,000,000 has been shared out to 3 tiers of government as the federal revenue allocation generated in the month of July 2013. A communique issued by the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee indicates that the gross revenue received for the month of July was 497.984 billion naira, which is lower than the 863.026 billion naira received in the previous month. And now in Kenya, 2 Chinese companies have donated communication equipment worth the sum of $2.6 billion to Kenya. Huawei Technologies Company Limited and Eastern Communication Limited donated the equipment during President Uhuru Kenyatta's first state visit to China at separate ceremonies in Shenzhen and Hangzhou respectively. In Kenya again, the President and First Lady Margaret Kenyatta arrived in Dubai, United Arab Emirates for a 3-day visit. President Kenyatta is to discuss Kenya's trade agenda with officials in Dubai. He will depart from Dubai on Tuesday from Mombasa, where he will host a regional infrastructure summit as well as attend to a host of national priorities. In South Sudan, the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable James Wani Iga, has been appointed the new Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan. Honorable Iga's appointment, according to the Republican decree, was issued by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit. He replaces the former Vice President Riek Machar Teni, who was removed in a major cabinet reshuffle about a month ago. In Ghana, Honorable Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, a Member of Parliament and Deputy Minister for Information and Media Relations, has stated that President John Dramani Mahama has given the green light for the construction of the first batch of 50 community senior high schools (SHS) in selected districts across the country. Still in Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama on Friday, August 23rd, participated in a 2-day retreat with his executive team at the Pedwose Lodge near Aboni in the Eastern region. The retreat was attended by Vice President Pa Kwesi Bekwe Amisa Atu, Ministers of State, Deputy Ministers, and Presidential staffers who reviewed the country's economic performance. Moving over to Zimbabwe, the swearing-in of newly elected members of parliament has been postponed to September 3rd to make way for the United Nations World Tourism Organization General Assembly and the Harare Agricultural Show. The ceremony was initially slated for Tuesday, August 20th. Both the UNWTO General Assembly and the show are running concurrently until month end. In Equatorial Guinea, for 3 days, the mayors, councillors, and municipal governors of the country have attended a course carried out by the Ministry of Internal Affairs on the management of city halls. The meeting was presided over by the Delegate Minister of Internal Affairs and Local Corporations, Leocadio Ndong Monong, at the Conference Center of Ngolo. And finally, for today, still in Equatorial Guinea, in the auditorium of the Ministry of Social Affairs and Promotion of Women, an agreement was signed between the Minister Maria Leonor Epam Beribi and the Ambassador of Cuba Pedro Dona Santana. The agreement establishes the sending of a consultant to support literacy adults, youth and adolescents and create a project in view of applying the Cuban literacy program. We kick off from Sierra Leone. President Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma has reassured women in the security sector that his government has taken key steps in addressing issues on women's empowerment. President Koroma made the assertion while addressing a meeting held with women in the security sector and acknowledged issues raised by the organization. Still in Sierra Leone, President Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma has on Thursday, August 22nd, held discussions with the Executive President of the Women for Africa Foundation and former Deputy Prime Minister of the Republic of Spain, Dr. Maria Teresa Fernandez de la Vega, on women's empowerment issues. And now in Liberia, the governments of Liberia and Benin have reaffirmed their willingness to work for the enhancement of relations between the two countries and the opportunity to strengthen bilateral relations for the well-being of the two nations. The reaffirmation was contained in a communique issued at the end of a two-day state and working visit by President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to Benin at the invitation of her friend and brother, His Excellency Dr. Thomas Boni Iai. In Mali, launch of a center to promote and defend human rights. Mali's Minister of Justice, keeper of the Mali Coulibaly Seals, on Saturday, August 24th, conducted the official launching of the Support Center for the Promotion of Human Rights, CAPDH, under the banner Together for the Consolidation of Our Democracy by Respect for Human Rights. In Mali again, the inauguration of the Koulouba Palace. The Koulouba Palace, which happens to be the official residence of the newly elected president, cannot immediately accommodate the new tenant. The prestigious building needs extensive and expensive repairs. The big question is, what happens to the Koulouba Palace since it was sacked in the wake of the coup of March 22, 2012? Will the new president be able to settle quickly? A few days before the inauguration of the new head of state, the subject returns. In Mauritius, the Central Water Authority, known by its acronym CWA, has envisaged to take measures to manage the water capital, given that the situation is becoming increasingly difficult, with only 60% rainfall during the period from May to August this year. During a press conference at St. Paul, the chairperson of the CWA, Prem Sadul, cautioned that water reserves in Mauritius are diminishing. In Mauritius again, a new Employment Promotion and Protection Division, known by its acronym EPPD, is now operational at the Employment Relations Tribunal, ERT. This division will deal with all cases of reduction of workforce, whether on a short term or permanently, or the closing down of an enterprise, referred by the Ministry of Labour, Industrial Relations and Empowerment. This official launching of the EPPD took place at the New Town Tower in Port Louis by the Minister of Agro-Industry and Food Security, Attorney General Satya Veyash Fogo. And finally for today in Morocco, the royal family and the Moroccan people on Thursday, August 22nd, celebrated the 43rd birthday of His Royal Highness Prince Moulay Rachid. Born on June 20, 1970 in Rabat, Prince Moulay Rachid has been committed since his young age to various actions by taking part in different rural activities and presiding over official and major events at the national and international levels, thus contributing to the process of building a new, modern and prosperous Morocco. South Sudan. The World Bank, WB, and bilateral donors have been supporting efforts by the government of the Republic of South Sudan to deliver services to the population through supporting the development of the Local Government Service Delivery Project, known by its acronym LGSD. The LGSD aims at supporting improvements in local governance and deliver services to communities through the strengthening of community engagement and local government capacities in planning, implementation and oversight of local development activities. And now in Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta and First Lady Margaret Kenyatta yesterday jetted back into the country after a successful tour of Eastern Europe, Asia and the Middle East. The presidential couple were received by the Deputy President William Ruto, senior government officials and coast leaders. President Kenyatta's first state visit to China reaped hefty packages, including support to infrastructure development and combating wildlife poaching in the country. And now in Rwanda, President Paul Kagame on Sunday evening received a congregational delegation of 6 Republican senators and their spouses who were on a 4-day visit to Rwanda. During their meeting with President Kagame, the senators commended Rwanda's economic transformation. The congregational delegation visited an HIV treatment facility at the Kisikiro Health Center. In Ghana, the government is upbeat about the growth prospects of the economy as a result of various economic measures it is implementing. Already, the services and the agricultural sectors have recorded positive growth, and the government believes that with the easing of the power crisis, the performance of the two sectors will improve. This was the optimism expressed by President John Dramani Mahama and his cabinet at the end of a mid-year review of the economy at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center in Accra last Saturday. In Ghana again, Chairman of the National Media Commission, Gabriel Blay Amiyere, on Monday, August 26, tasked the media to ensure that their professional ethics reflect in their reportage after the Supreme Court verdict on the 2012 election petition. Blay Amiyere said this when he spoke at a forum organized by the Ghana Journalists Association, GJA, on media reportage after the Supreme Court verdict. Moving over to Mauritius, the Maurice Hill Durable MID Fund has proposed to launch around mid-October 2013 the second phase of the household compost scheme, following the enthusiasm shown by the population for household composting, which is a natural way to contribute to sustainable development in the country. And finally, for today, still in Mauritius, the second edition of the forum entitled Women Talk Business was held yesterday morning at the Women Empowerment Center, Triolet. The forum, organized by the National Women Entrepreneur Council (NWEC), aims at providing a platform for the sharing of experiences of existing women entrepreneurs and business owners, and sensitize potential women entrepreneurs on existing facilities at institutional levels. From Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday said that government will initiate an agricultural revolution that will transform farming in the country into a commercial enterprise. The president said although Kenyan farmers make meager profits, his government is committed to ensure all farmers, irrespective of landholding, make a decent income of agricultural activity. In Kenya again, President Kenyatta has said the government will ensure that all Kenyans who have no title deeds are issued with the document in order to engage in meaningful economic activities. He said land is an important factor of production that should not be politicized, adding that his government has embarked on a countrywide program to ensure title deeds to all Kenyans. Moving over to South Sudan, the President of the Republic of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, has pledged to deepen economic ties with South Sudan in a bid to enhance development in the two countries. President Kenyatta said it is the mandate and commitment of his government to encourage greater collaboration with the regional partners, especially South Sudan, as the region urges towards a federation. In Ghana, the Supreme Court yesterday dismissed the petition filed by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo and 2 others against the results declared by the Electoral Commission in the 2012 election. The ruling affirmed President John Mahama as the winner of last general election. In Ghana again, Ghana's 10-year Eurobond was yesterday listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange to afford both local, foreign and prospective investors the opportunity to buy and trade on the secondary market. This is the very first time an African country is co-listing a Eurobond on the local exchange. The bond is already listed on the Irish Stock Exchange in Dublin. In Ethiopia, State Minister Ambassador Behane Gebre Christos received a League of State Honorary Consul of Ethiopia in Norway on Tuesday, August 27. Al-Stad, who was visiting Addis Ababa, expressed his appreciation for the holistic developments taking place in Ethiopia. Ambassador Berhane, who wrote that the government of Ethiopia was committed to development, said the focus on rural development was bringing massive change, including infrastructural development. And now in Equatorial Guinea, preparations for the economic forum in the country to exit an oil-dependent economy as part of the Horizon 2020 program is the purpose for which the government of Equatorial Guinea will organize within 3 months an international economic forum, which will help to attract investors in various fields in order to strengthen the diversification of the economy. In Equatorial Guinea, again, agreements between the INSTI and the Embassy of Cuba. Through this agreement, a number of Equatorial Guinean doctors will travel to the Caribbean country to study different health specialties. The first framework agreement between the National Institute of Social Security (INSESO) and the Cuban Medical Services Company (SMC) was signed in Malabo. This agreement opens a bilateral channel for sending INSESO doctors so that they can pursue different specialties in Cuba. In Liberia, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and President of the African Development Bank Group Donald Kaberuka will lead a special high-level panel on fragile states in Monrovia on September 2nd. The panel will seek to answer the question, how can we truly build peace and set a course for prosperity in Africa's fragile states? In Liberia again, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf says the United Nations Population Fund (UNFPA) in Liberia continues to work well with the government and has been a strong partner. She expressed appreciation for the partnership with this specialized United Nations agency. The president was speaking Thursday, August 29, when the newly appointed UNFPA Liberia resident representative Ratidzai Noluvu paid her a courtesy call. In Rwanda, President Paul Kagame on Thursday, August 29, presided over awards for the best tea producers in Africa, where Rwanda tea producer Kitabi Factory won the overall award. The 3-day convention brought together members of the East African Tea Trade Association, including tea producers, tea traders, scholars, and mothers, to discuss how tea could drive Africa's economy. And finally for today, in the Republic of Seychelles, President James Michael left Hanoi for Seychelles last night after concluding a state visit to Vietnam, during which he and his Vietnamese counterpart Trong Tan Sang agreed to build a Seychelles-Vietnam cooperative partnership based on mutual respect and mutual benefits. While in Vietnam, he had extensive and in-depth discussions with Sang at the Presidential Palace on bilateral and regional issues. Thank you, televiewers. This was the package we had for you for News Online. Don't go away, but stay with us for more information on your Pan-African channel, AFRIQUE Media, and do have a wonderful weekend.
Institution Online was offered to you by the African Council for the Media.